Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and for the last week I've been driving the 2025 Land Rover Defender X Dynamic SE. Up front is a 3.0 liter twin-charged inline-6 as well as a hybrid system, and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be making this video here today because this is my first time spending an entire week with a Land Rover product. I reviewed the Defender when it got its facelift back in the early 2020s. That was a 2022 model, and I filmed it for an hour on a terribly frigid day. That was one of the coldest shoots I had ever done, so it wasn't great. So now I've gotten to spend an entire week with the Land Rover Defender, and I'm excited to share my thoughts and feelings with you here today. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that inline 6 under the hood. First of all, it makes high 300s if I remember correctly. I'll put the horsepower number up on the screen for your viewing pleasure. However, this is a very complicated engine. It is twin charged, meaning it is turbocharged and supercharged, and it has a 48-volt mild hybrid system. So there is a lot going on under the hood to make this vehicle what it is, and so reliability is a big question mark. However, I do have to say, I didn't have any need, want, or interest in any more power than it has. Cruising on the highway, cruising the back roads, it has plenty of horsepower, and it never left me wanting more. So, is this a fun, interesting, and solid drivetrain? Yes. Would I want to foot the bill? No. But at least one of these and you'll be good to go. Like I said, paired to it is an automatic transmission. Nothing really too crazy here. It operates as it should, and I don't have any notes. Last but not least, of course, the Land Rover Defender is four-wheel drive, and we have plenty of modes, things, and doodads to talk about with that, which we will get into. So how does it feel to drive the Land Rover Defender? Well, it drives really nice for what it is. We'll get into this with the final thoughts segment, but this is not a luxury vehicle. This is a very nice off-road vehicle, and so it drives as such. Think of a more posh Jeep Wrangler or Ford Bronco. Compare this to the Ineos Grenadier, vehicles like that. So it is stiff, even in comfort mode. It has a pretty stiff ride. It has stiff steering. Visibility isn't amazing, but it's also not terrible. But it'll do highway speeds in much more comfort than any Jeep product would. So that is a big bonus. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. Now, I'm normally not super over the moon when it comes to digital gauges. However, I do think that this is pretty clean, pretty simple layout, and it's been easy to look at during my week with it, so I give that a big thumbs up. On the steering wheel on the left, we do have our volume, safety buttons, and skip track, and off to the right, we have our adaptive cruise. They use a little bit different icons than normal adaptive cruise, so this did take a little bit of time to get used to, but it all works well. And off to the left, we have a handle and shelf and our power parking brake release, but that's it. Nothing else too crazy off to the left. Moving on to the door, we have our memory seats, power mirrors, power windows, power locks, but again, that's it, a rather Spartan interior. Moving into the center, we do get two climate vents with the hazard switch and the infotainment. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a couple of interesting things to swipe through with the Land Rover infotainment. The off-road pages are definitely something very special and very cool. I love playing with this. We also have wade sensing, so this will tell you how deep the water you're driving through is. Super cool. Not a feature I used during my week, but cool to know that I could. We have like low traction, launch mode, eco data, 4x4, all of these really cool apps here on the vehicle. We also do have a 360 camera, and here is the backup camera. Down below, we have a nice cluster of buttons. We have our climate controls mixed together with like raising the vehicle height and defrost and the shifter, start, stop, and volume, all in this nice little cluster. I do really enjoy this and how it's all laid out. And you push the button in and this will adjust your seat heat and cooled. You could also use the right dial as the fan speed, and you could use the left dial as the drive mode. So again, they really consolidated buttons here in the center, and I think that this has been absolutely fabulous. Down below, you do get a little cubby that you can push away to an even bigger cubby down below, and we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test, and I'm very happy to report that it does in fact pass the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do get a wireless charger and center console and the seats. The seats are hard. They are very hard, to the point where I did take this on a 2-hour each way road trip. We did a little day trip to New Buffalo, Michigan, and my back hurt quite a bit when I got out of it. Again, in comfort mode, these seats still just are not comfortable. They are hard, they are unforgiving, and so that would be my big change I would make to this vehicle, is to fit a little bit better, more comfier, more cushier seats. But we'll get into that with the final thoughts. However, speaking of seats, we do have a 2-row Defender here today, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, in the back of the Land Rover Defender 110, and the 110 is the important bit here because they also sell the Defender 130. They also sell the Defender 90. So the 90 is the 2-door, the 110 is the 4-door, and the 130 is the 4-door. Kind of looks like it has a big butt on it, but it is an 8-passenger vehicle. This is just the 2 rows, so this is the 110 wheelbase. Down below, we do have dual zone climate for the back, so that makes 4 climate zones for the vehicle, fan speed, and 2 USB-C chargers, as well as vents. We also have pull-down cup holders. That's pretty much it. Handles here and here. You get to enjoy the moonroof. And over my shoulder, I believe these are called Safari windows, which are like little tiny skylights. Again, Land Rover has done this for many, many decades, so it's cool to see still here in 2025. Overall, the seat cushioning, again, very hard back here, which is a downside, but I fit behind myself very comfortably. I'm 5'11", not a small guy. I fit back here very, very well. And that's not to be said about all SUVs, but I would be pretty sad if the Defender wasn't able to do that. Although I am very curious to drive now the 3-row and the 2-door Defenders, see how they stack up with their middle rows. Let's hop into the very back. We'll take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Land Rover Defender, little handle here, and it is a door, which is very, very nice. You do get a little stop stick in here, but around the back, you do have pretty decent storage. We were able to fit chairs and luggage back here. You do get this little bin as well, and you do get a wall outlet. Now up above, you have a very nice privacy cover, and you get to really enjoy those Safari windows up above. This has been very adequate amount of cargo space over the last week, so I'm pretty happy with it, and always cool to see a door instead of a tailgate. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I think Land Rover truly knocked it out of the park with the looks of this car. It's able to look retro and futuristic at the same time. I think it pays really good respects to the old Defenders in terms of style. However, it also looks fresh and modern, and I have loved looking at this in my driveway over the last week. It has been very, very fun and very special. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think now, having driven the Defender for a full week, taking it on a mini day trip, living with it, getting groceries in it, that sort of thing? Well, I've really liked this experience. This was really cool to have a Land Rover for the first time. But honestly, the whole thing, the whole point behind this vehicle has been setting your mind correctly. If you look at that price tag of $85,000 and you think that this is going to be a luxury vehicle, it's not. This is not a luxury product. Sure, it is nice, and it has a lot nicer features than what you would find in a Bronco or Wrangler or vehicles in that segment. It is nicer than those for sure, but it is not a luxury vehicle. It does not ride nice. It does not feel comfortable to be in for hours and hours. It does not cater to you. It does not make sure that your comfort is its highest priority. No. Its highest priority is tackling and getting through rough terrain. And that's very clear here. So if you want a very nice off-roader, this is it. But if you want a vehicle to go to Starbucks in, and hey, I love my pink drinks too, I would pick something else. It's all about setting your mind, right? Because I went into this and I expected a luxury vehicle for nearly $90,000. And I was a bit mistaken when the seats were hard, the ride wasn't great, the exposed bolts on the doors, the rough steering. I was a little bit disappointed, but then I had to sort of re-gear my brain and say, no, this isn't meant to be that. They have the Range Rover line. That's the whole reason why Range Rover exists. Land Rover's off-road, Range Rover's on-road. So once I got that through my thick skull, this car made a lot more sense to me. If you have the money and you want to be able to conquer all terrain, this is the car for you. Just put a couple extra bucks away for the maintenance. I can't imagine it's going to be friendly. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Land Rover for letting me borrow their Defender for the last week. Really, truly, it has been a privilege to drive one of their vehicles. Huge thank you to G. Schmitz for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwest Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.